My name's Ed Gallier, and I'm the Group Learning and Development Manager at Jury's Inn. We're a hotel group, and really, I've got a story about people for you, and how our view of technology is helping our people just do things better, smarter. My background is not technology. I'm an out-and-out face-to-face trainer who has suddenly adopted and got passionate about the opportunities that for us learning on your own, learning online, whatever you want to call it, learning in communities can bring, and how that fits to when people get together and learn face to face. So I'm probably the convert, the wolf in sheep's clothing. So I think it gives me a reasonable amount of sort of credibility, rather than saying I just love this stuff. They had to convince me to love the stuff. So our people then. Our hotel company is a medium-sized company. We have 2,000 employees. But the problem that we always had was that those 2,000 employees are across 31 hotels, plus another 4 offices. So information sharing, is it the right version of that information? Is quite difficult. So we were looking to do things with more consistency, more quality, and that's really where our story started. And for us, our story started in quite basic terms. We do most of our knowledge sharing through our portal, our LMS, and I'm sure you have views of whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. But we had this idea that really, let's get consistency with mandatory training. So, we love a good fire course, and we're going to make sure that that fire course is really consistent, that we can measure the people that are attending the fire course and how they're completing the fire course, and we can track it from wherever in any of our units they're completing that learning. We know what they're up to. So that's what we originally wanted from our platform, to focus on this consistency and real focus on a group of people who are our new recruits. So we were looking at changing our whole onboarding process and really using this online platform to help us do that. Jury's Inn as a group had really never done much of online learning. Years and years ago, we'd done some learning on a sort of standalone PC and that sort of thing. So there was a bit of culture change there as well. We'd edged our bets, and about 60% of that 2,000 workforce are under 30. So we're sort of going, well, there's a chance of success here. And something amazing happened. I told you that it was a story about people. And we worked with a partner, Learning Pool, and they got us and we got them, if you like. And we started to work on this, what we call Belong, which is our in-house onboarding induction program. And we got more of a response than we really thought. If you were thinking, well, you're going to do some health and safety training, some fire training and personal safety training, you have to do it. It's really key. It's fundamental to that onboarding, but how exciting can you get about it? And you probably did it with your last employer. That's the thing, but you have to do it again. So we put together this program, and the feedback was really good. People were really engaged in the whole process, and there was a number of reasons for that. We made it really friendly. We created a number of characters that worked at one of our hotels, so it was very bespoke. The characters on the screen, if you like, the avatars, the cartoons, they looked like us. They were wearing our uniform, and we got good feedback. Just because it's relevant to come back to later, the site, the portal, we call it Grow Online. Right from the start, we made it that it was accessible, so accessible as much as we could push it, because we had some information sharing systems in the organisation, but unless you were at a desk and cabled in, you really couldn't access it. And about 3/4 of our workforce do not sit down, they don't work at a desk. You've all been in a hotel, so it's all the people that make your stay a pleasure and ease your journey through the hotel. These are the people that we wanted to touch with the system. So that we made sure that the system, people could use it at home, at work, on the move, and in terms of implementation, we bought a number of Android tablets. So every hotel, every department had a tablet, so a non-desk-based person could access the system. So right from the start, no matter how good something is, if you can't use it, you can't use it. And also we looked at how people were allowed to access the system at work. So if you were on shift and you were using, in our case, an Android pad, that wasn't a bad thing. Because culturally in hotels, if you sort of had your phone out or something like that, that's not great because our focus is on you. So you're not carrying your phone around in the hotel. So great platform, worked well with statutory and mandatory training, and access was really, really important. Another thing to tell you about what we learnt in the process is that this was going to be a big change for us. And we, being people-focused, people-facing, one of our big learnings was that for us, it worked and we got it right, but there was lots of people and lots of face-to-face involved in introducing people to the platform. So we broke the organisation down into 4 tranches, and we made sure that everybody each unit was represented by someone from HR, someone from operations, the general manager of the business. And we launched in these small tranches of 4 groups. And Group 1 helped Group 2 adopt the process. And then someone from 1 and 2 adopted the process for Group 3. So we took it nice and steady. So small was good. We didn't need everybody to like it, but we needed the noisy ones to like it. And we'd sort of identified who the noisy ones were that could be our advocates and go out there and sell the platform to everybody else. So because we'd got really good feedback from mandatory training, and we'd set ourselves a tough target, we wanted 100% engagement on the courses, the mandatory courses, within 6 months. So tracking, it's great, but because we could track, we could set this target. So the advantage we had is because Belong was induction, all new recruits were going through it, but we also made sure that we used the process as, if you like, the annual refresher for everybody. Because we'd suddenly realised that we're going to build this onboarding platform, but only new recruits would benefit from it. So people already in the business, unless they were really, really nosy, wouldn't benefit from it. They'd only be hearing things second or third hand. So for their annual refresher in these areas, we got people involved in looking at the system. Because we knew there were people coming to view the system, we decided that we'd put together a little bit of a program to see why people come to the site. And you might not be able to see all this timeline, but we decided that in the organisation there was a number of key things socially that we do. And every year we do a cycle challenge. I don't. I'm in charge of sandwiches at the end. It's not a good look, me on a bike. So that was something that maybe we can share the progress, how much money we're raising, and you could cycle on the day, but you could also count your commuting cycle miles as well. And people were starting to upload these commuting cycle miles to a little course, really, that had been created. We also have a Jury's Got Talent event as part of our annual awards. And we decided that we would get people to upload sort of little clips of themselves performing, and we'd see if people would vote for the best 3 to come along to the annual awards and entertain us. And we would vote for the ultimate Jury's Got Talent group or person. And we learned a couple of things. People have to go to the site for their mandatory training, but they'll hang around, they'll look around if there's something fun. There's got to be something fun. And some of that fun content was coming from us, so the cycle challenge, But a lot of the fun content was coming from our colleagues, the 2,000 employees that we had. So that gave us a little...
Just a general question.
Yeah.
It seems like you're doing a lot of things in here that many other organisations might do on their intranet. Was this in addition to the intranet, or is it to replace it, or is there a plan to replace it?
We didn't really... we had SharePoint. And, oh, you do the face, I do. I didn't know whether, because I don't know what people think. But the big thing for us was it was cabled, you know, and not a lot of people can connect to you know, a hardwired network. So we didn't really have an intranet, and we didn't do a lot of online document sharing, or we'd sort of have, you know, the shared drive in each unit, or the global shared drive. So actually, it started to be the SharePoint, the document sharing point. So it's I can't claim everything because it's sort of evolved, and you're going, look what's happening, look what's happening, and it was really interesting. So people were using the site. I have to say, all our guys are not compliant. Everybody has a great view of things. I'm sure your colleagues will, when you launch something, you know, everyone's got their view. One of the things that we did do is we know that our guys are really competitive, Cycle Challenge, Joey's Got Talent, and we made public sort of the level of engagement in each hotel. And we asked each hotel why you were engaging on a particular level. With mandatory training, we published how far each hotel was off 100% completion by course. And that really got people, some managers quite tense, because you know, my friend who manages the other hotel is much further on. But it actually got the teams talking, you know, why aren't you engaging? Are we not allowing you time to do this? Because we made a pledge that anything you had to do, you have to be allowed to do at work. If you want to do it at home, that's fine, but we have to facilitate it at work, just as sort of a cultural thing. So we put some sort of very light management incentives around league tables. But what we found as well, that our guys really loved, you know, like the gas gauge. So how many courses have you done? How much of that course you've done? And I was going, really? You just like to see your completion rate? And that was really motivational. And every now and again, there might be a glitch where the gas gauge didn't quite update, or we had to do a manual load of a completion. And people would be sort of emailing going, I've done more than this. And you just thought, well, there's a level of engagement there. That's really interesting. We showed this with the metrics. And as I said, we found that people were coming for a course and hanging around if there was something fun. And really the slide is just saying that we're now into our third year. So Dom will tell me that you know, 2 years plus, that's a really long time in, you know, technology. So you're not new at this anymore. So he said, we were looking, and really we were saying that really our level of engagement, including Christmas Day, was really, really consistent. So we found that for HR, we'd extended our reach. We were now impacting on the business. And as I was saying, you know, we'd found that we're actually becoming a bit of a sharing place. So we put our neck out and we said, well, we'll try something. Culturally, often in a hotel, someone in L&D or HR has come through the business. So it's perceived that you have all the brains, you have all the answers, and you know everything. And that can create a real bottleneck, especially when there's something new to provide all this content. So we wanted to really improve the way that information flowed. And we decided that we wanted to, you know, if you like, look for a two-way street, get more people involved in creating content. So from small acorns, we knew that small focus groups really, really worked. So what we were out looking for a project. And part of our hotel, we franchised Costa Coffee from Whitbread. So that's a great brand of coffee, but we have to protect that brand because it's not ours. So one of the things potentially, and you'll probably test me on this, if you ever go in a Jury's Inn, you know, if you want a Costa Coffee, anyone should be able to make you that Costa, rather than sort of going, oh, I'll get somebody, hang on, hang on. So we've got about 1,500 people that need to know how to make a really great latte. So that can be difficult if you're doing face-to-face training. Is it consistent? So we asked the guys, well, where does the knowledge sit with this? Who's that knowledge holder? And actually, rather than being, you know, a manager or a director, in that case, it's our baristas. So we got the baristas to, if you like, ask them, how would you share that knowledge with everybody in all the units? So, as I was told on the last session, we all have a phone. And really, it was, you know, the shaky hand YouTube style video, almost like worse than YouTube. But it did the job. And for us, it was the speed. We were able to understand what the standard was, engage with the team that we had to create content very, very quickly. And using our online platform, we could share it with everybody. So that was a real success. We got good engagement with that. And we started to look for ways, if you like, we could be nosy. So HR could go out and see if we could impact more on the business. And what we did, we were looking for projects so that we were trying to encourage people to use Grow Online from the start. And it was important for us that we picked something that we could really demonstrate, you know, what we were able to do. So we went out and picked a project. We looked at who held the knowledge. And it was important to see how are they going to share the knowledge. So is it going to be, you know, by uploading documents, photography? Do they need some publishing skills? So we use Adapt Builder. So, you know, do they need to be trained to use that? And we found that our role was really to curate the information, to moderate and control the quality. So give a little bit of guidance. And we had this great project called MyOps. This was the biggie. Everyone was involved in it, and all the duty managers had to go through a program. And we decided that we would use MyOps as a way to share information. And basically, MyOps is the person who's running the hotel on any hour of the day has to have gone through this program. So, you know, if there's a fire, if there's a flood, if someone complains, what do I do? And we basically got our senior managers to set the standards, and then gave managers to go with their teams and create the content that they'd be using to train themselves, learn from. And it was a great success. And one of the things it did, we learned that really our job wasn't to tell them what the content was and where to get it from anymore. It was about learning and development, greasing the wheels, if you like, making sure that what they wanted to achieve, we helped them and we could get it on the site for them. So we had this sort of dual carriageway, if you like, this two-way traffic. And we found that it actually created great conversations between employees and managers, because they'd learn something online and then in the workplace they'd coach on that same subject. So managers started to talk better quality, deeper with the teams. So just on the screen there was loads of different ways that people added content to the site, from how-to films to recorded webinars, voting, forums, and really enriched what would have been quite static content from a central source. We actually created a platform where people could put moderated content, so we knew that they'd hit the mark, hit the standard. For us, and on the screen, if you like, some top tips, but for us it was about not being precious with it's our site, it's our knowledge, and really helping and facilitating our teams to create content. And we're doing it in small ways. We're not there, there's loads of more sort of scope for us, but it's all about trying those small projects that have a big impact. For us, the measurables, we reduced staff turnover, which was one of our aims. So people in the first 6 months with us, we reduced that by 38%, which was great if you think about the on-cost, the recruitment costs. The money we saved from doing a lot of face-to-face training, we re-employed into L&D and carried on developing Grow Online. We had great consistency now because that local face-to-face trainer didn't cut and modify on personal choice and delivery preference, so that message was really consistent. And because we had these richer coaching conversations as part of a blended model between linking online to the workplace, so the 70-20-10, we've started to make that really come alive. So the culture's improved, the friendliness, the engagement between sort of line manager and employee really, really improved. that's our people story about Grow Online and sharing information, and where we are at the moment.